All right. How you guys doing? My name is Danny, host today for Lux News Network on YouTube. Yeah, back with another interview. Today we got Mike, and I'm gonna allow him to introduce himself to you guys.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? Appreciate y'all, Danny. Love to appreciate y'all having me here. My name is Mike Phillips. I'm a real estate agent. I'm originally from Philly, but I'm currently based out in Erie, PA.
Okay, Erie, yeah. Okay, Erie. All right. All right. So yeah, like you said, you do real estate for a living. Where did you go to school?
Originally, I went to Pitt Titusville. That's where me and Danny actually went to school for about a year.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, I transferred over to Gannon. That's actually what brought me up here to Erie. I went to Gannon University. I went up here for a year, but then afterwards, I decided to drop out and be a real estate agent.
Okay. Okay. So, how long have you been practicing?
I've been doing it for about 2 years. I've been licensed officially for about 2 years, but I don't really consider myself being a full-time agent until about March of 2021. So I consider about a year, almost 2 years officially.
Okay. And where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years?
Hopefully, in about 5 years, I hopefully I can have some investment properties under my belt. That's what I can hopefully do in about 10 years. I'd like to have my own brokerage, be doing this and, have other agents, teaching them the ropes and stuff. So
Okay.
that's something I'd like to do in the next 10 years or so.
Okay. That's good. That's ambitious. That's good. What company do you work for, or you're an independent contractor? Which one?
Right now, I guess technically I'm an independent contractor, but right now I'm with Keller Williams. That's the brokerage that I'm under.
Okay. Uh, what makes you stand out at your job?
I guess in terms of standing out, what some folks tell me in the office is that I tend to make more calls than most of the a good amount of the other agents, and I guess how I go about making the calls. I guess that's probably what I'd say would stand out if you came into our office.
Okay. Uh, what are your top three skills?
Um, Top three skills, definitely, I'd say prospecting. I kind of enjoy, getting on the phone and talking to strangers. Believe it or not, that's definitely one of my top three skills. Negotiation, definitely. Being that I mostly work with sellers, I'm usually talking to buyers agents and stuff. Going back and forth with contracts and terms and things like that, and also working with investors. And third skill I definitely say is just being honest. Because again, a lot of agents sometimes get commission breath, and they'll kind of say whatever they want to buy a potential buyer just to sell the house, and then maybe a year will go by or 6 months will go by, something ends up wrong with the house, and that's maybe something you guys could have figured out had you been a little more diligent during the process.
Yeah, that is true. They do got some scammers out there. That is true. Yeah. How would your coworkers and clients describe you?
Definitely one to go a little bit of the extra mile, I guess. Don't want to sound overly cliche, but definitely somewhat of a go-getter, if you will. That's one of the enjoyable things about being a real estate agent. I know that I can go get it myself versus having to wait, or kind of having to wait every other week or whatever the case may be. I can kind of, everything's in my hands. So if I fail, it's on me. If I succeed, it's on me. I don't have to blame anybody else, so that's what I like about it.
Yeah, that's cool. Cool. Yeah, accountability. Most people don't do that nowadays. What has been your favorite selling experience?
Definitely my first sale. When I originally started, just for a disclaimer for most people, when you're first starting real estate, it's actually pretty difficult. It took me 9 months to get my first sale. So while I was, going through that, it was kind of rough. So my first sale, when the clients that I dealt with, this was like the rich area. So when I went there, you know, I was looking maybe a little raggedy. You know, I had, you know, maybe like some basic shoes. I had some basic khakis, like a little basic shirt. Probably not the attire that you should have going into a neighborhood like that. And they still gave me a chance anyways. You know, they were able to look past that. They still saw that I was, you know, hustling. You know, I had the courage to call them in the first place. You know, a lot of agents are scared to make phone calls, believe it or not. But you know, just that the fact that they gave me the chance to sell their house, and they actually bought me a couple of suits as well. So that was pretty cool. I'm actually still friends with them. We have lunch every now and again. So they're still pretty cool. That was you know, that's something that gave me the confidence, you know, to move forward, knowing that I can do this and that people actually, you know, there's people that believe in you regardless.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. That's a great story too. Um, what is your favorite part of working in real estate?
Definitely meeting new people. That's definitely the you know, getting out there, because I kind of consider myself somewhat of an introvert, if you will. You know, I'm not overly shy, but you know, I don't really, you know, talk to people if there's not really much of a meaning. So kind of going out there, you know, being in the job, being what I do, kind of going out there, being forced to talk to new people, being learning how to solve issues or kind of make fast decisions, have conversations with strangers over the phone, you know, things like that to get their attention, things like that, you know, skills like that can, you know, stick with me for even when I'm not in real estate. I enjoy learning the process. You know, that's actually you know, one of my favorite things about it.
Uh, what are your most important resources buyers should be using?
Uh, definitely a real estate agent. Definitely a real estate agent, and your local lender as well, because with this market that we're in right now, the market's starting to shift, and interest rates are rising pretty fast. So you want to make sure that you're talking with somebody, whether it's a realtor or lender, someone that understands the business. That if you are in the business or are looking to buy a house, you want to make sure that someone understands to make sure that you're making the right decision.
Okay, how do you manage both in and out of office tasks?
So far, as of right now, you know, I'm still pretty new in the business, so I have to do everything by myself right now. But that's okay. Right now, for the most part, it's Google Calendar. I don't have that big of a database right now, so it's still easy to manage right now. But I'm learning right now to automate it right now with the systems that Keller Williams has with, you know, Command and, you know, things like that on the MLS, stuff like that.
Okay, what types of technology do you use to improve your selling and showing process? You manage Google Calendar. Do you use any other technologies or no?
Yeah, actually, so with Keller Williams, I'm actually, you know, one of the perks of being at Keller Williams is we have, they actually specialize, you know, they actually take that technology stuff pretty serious. So we have a CRM called Command that we use. We can organize all our contacts in there, emails, phone numbers, addresses. We can put drip campaigns. In the MLS is kind of the database that we use as agents to see the properties, what's for sale, the prices, things like that. And on that end, I usually put clients, if I get their email, I put them on a weekly email. So every week they get an email of what the market is doing in their particular neighborhood, whether they live there or maybe it's an investment property that they own. They just get an update every week.
That's good because that way they see you putting extra work, they're more likely to do business with you. So yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. What qualities do you believe make up an effective real estate professional?
Um, Definitely somebody that's proactive. Because unlike most jobs, you know, if you have a job, you usually have a boss that's, you know, giving you assignments, telling you to do this, telling you to do that. It has to be done by this. Or, you know, if you're in school, we're used to our teachers giving us assignments, things like that. However, in real estate, it's not quite like that. You have to go find the business. You know, it's different because now you do have bosses. Don't get me wrong. Your clients are your bosses. They tell you what their price is. They tell you all this, and you have to facilitate all that. However, you have to get to that point. One of the misconceptions is people think that once you're a realtor, people are going to start calling you. that doesn't happen right away. You have to be in the business for, 3, 4, 5+ years before people know you and start to call you. But when you're like me, when you just start out, and me being in Erie too, I don't know nobody from here. Is I have to go out and talk to the strangers and stuff like that. So that's kind of one of the things that I kind of specialize in moving into it.
Yeah, like yeah, you gotta build your reputation up. Yeah, yep, got it. Uh, how many homes on average do you sell each year?
I've only been doing it a couple of years, 2 years. I think I've sold maybe I think 18, 19 houses, something like that. So almost 10, maybe like 8 houses a year. I'm hoping to bring that average up as I'm in the business longer.
Okay, that's pretty good though for a beginner. Yep, yep. Um, how do you use the internet and social media to sell homes?
The great thing about social media is it helps you build a brand. You don't have to pay for a billboard. If you're good on social media, so it helps people know who you are, and it's a lot cheaper than it's a free way to market your properties, be it Facebook, the MLS, obviously, Realtor.com, Zillow, things like that. The IDXs that a lot of these real estate companies have, it pushes out your properties onto all these websites for you. And then on top of YouTube videos and things like that, Instagram stories, if you're creative with that, you can make your properties, push them out there, things like that with search engine optimization as well. I'm not that good with that, but I know there's some agents that are really, really good with that and can get their listings as soon as you Google something like a house for sale in whatever city, their listings will be one of the ones to pop up. So I know some agents that are really good at that.
Yeah, yeah, that is true. What you're saying, everything you mentioned, that's true with advertising. So it seems like you're pretty good in that area. Um, how do you stay organized so you make sure you make every appointment and that you're always on time to work?
Always Google Calendar. That's definitely my favorite tool with business. I usually color code them as well. So if I have a really important appointment with somebody that might want to sell their house, I usually make it red, just to make sure that I know it's important. And if it's not, if it's just somewhere else that I have to be, like a meeting or something that's not overly important, or like a team meeting that's something that's recurring, something like that, something that's recurring or not super important, I usually keep it as blue. But when I'm meeting with a client or something like that, it's usually red. And then I just set reminders in there and push it out to follow up.
Good, 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 good. Talk about a time when you had a hard time creating a relationship with a tenant, owner, or investor, and how would you have handled that differently if you were to do it today?
Definitely my very first listing. That was one where I actually didn't sell that house. So it was my first house that I sold. That was my third listing, but my first two I didn't sell. But the first one, that was probably the one that I wish I really could get a do-over on, because this was when I was kind of scared. Like I said, a good trait of a good agent is honesty. At the time, I wasn't fully honest with my client. We had the house a little overpriced to begin with. We probably should have listed at like 130, but we had it listed at 140. We got a couple offers, and the offers were low. They were like in the 130s to 140, or 130, 134, something like that. And we said no to both times because we thought we were getting lowballed. Turns out that, we go another week. I didn't want to tell the seller the truth. I didn't want to say, hey, Mr. Seller, we need to drop the price. I kept telling them, no, 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 everything's okay. Well, we never sold the house. And then somebody else got the listing and they sold the house for, I believe, 120. So
Hmm.
that's something I feel a little bad about, because I maybe lost my client, $11,000, $12,000 maybe. Now, I don't know if the house appraised at 120 or if that's what they got offered at 120. So they may have gotten that anyways, but that's always something that I struggle to do. And, had I done it differently, I would have either, I wish I would have told them right away that, hey, we're not going to be able to sell this house for 140. We got to go to 135 or 130, something like that.
Okay. Uh, what's the hardest part of keeping your clients focus on home tours?
To be honest, I don't work with too many buyers. I work with a few, but not a whole lot. Most of the buyers that I work with are investors. So the good thing about that is most of them already know what they want. The great thing, the easy part is just, having find it. But when I am showing a few buyers here and there tours, the biggest thing I always want them to keep focused is what exactly that they're looking for. So if let's say, it's a lady, she has a little kid, she's probably looking for more space. So I'm looking for homes that are maybe 15, 16, 1700 square feet. Or if it's an older person that has a big house, maybe they want smaller space, so I'm looking for 1-story homes, things like that.
Okay. What qualities make you a good real estate agent?
Um, I definitely am somebody that's probably going to go above and beyond and do the most, probably more than what I need to. So that's probably something that I would say that qualifies me as a solid agent. Another one is that I'm not afraid to get my hands dirty. You know what I mean? Sometimes there's some places where agents maybe wouldn't touch, or there's some things that agents maybe wouldn't do or wouldn't feel like doing. I'll go above and beyond. I actually have a listing that we have under contract now. We actually had it listed in March, but the house was in bad shape. So and the seller doesn't live in Erie. He lives, around in Jersey, in New Jersey. So I was kind of helping him, or not kind of, I was helping him facilitate, find people, find builders, or not builders, find people that can help renovate the property and things like that. So being that he doesn't know anybody out here, he's kind of trusted me to do that. And that's way more than my job description. I don't really need to do any of that, but being that I want to be a good agent, I want to set a good example for him. I'm going above and beyond, helping them with the renovations, helping him pair up with people, helping him find the right prices, things like that.
Okay. How much time are you willing to put in each week?
At least, this is like a full-time job, you know what I mean? So at least, 40 hours I'm spending just calling, 20, 30 to 40 hours I like to spend just calling, just every single day. I tried, not every single day, but I try to every single day. um and it's what you have to do, because how this business is, it's kind of like a funnel, you know what I mean? If you're not adding new leads at the top of the funnel, it's going to get dry at some point. And if it's dry, then you're not going to get any business. You're just going to be sitting there broke, nothing to do. So I try to always find new people to talk to every day.
Yeah, that's true. Um, how do you determine what properties to show the clients?
Um, again, it all depends on their situation. So like kind of like previously mentioned, if they're older person, most of the time, if they have a bigger house already, they're looking at downsize.
Okay.
If it's a younger couple, maybe a newlywed, maybe I'm looking for something smaller, because maybe they don't have any children yet, or they're just moving into their first home. Something like that. Or if it's an investor, they may be looking to have a property in a certain area of town that gets a certain amount of rent, or maybe they want to buy a certain price point area. So that plays a part as well. And for kids, for people with kids, they usually care about the school district as well. So all that plays a part into where I look, the price point, and how many, the types of dimensions, if they have dogs, things like that, all things that might accommodate them.
All right. What are leads and how do you find leads?
Um, so a lead, I guess a lead is somebody. How I define a lead is somebody that may or may not do business in the future, and that's given me permission to follow up in the future. And how I find leads is prospecting. So I'll have a list. I'll just have a random list of addresses, names, and folks to call that may want to do business. I call them. I have a conversation with them, and most of the time, it's not a lead. They hang up on me. They tell me, no, I'm not interested, don't call me again, whatever the case. But there's some people that I'll get in there, they'll say, yeah, I may be interested, and then I'll get their email. I'll get permission to follow up with them in the future. And then, like previously mentioned, I'll, put them on the email list to keep them updated. And every now and again, I'll give them a call, something like that. So, and then eventually when the time comes, when they're ready to sell, I'm the person that they're thinking about.
Yeah, that's true. What you just said, it remind me of Wolf of Wall Street, because basically they're doing sales, they're trying to get people to buy the stock, whatever. And same thing with real estate, you're trying to get people to buy the house. So yeah, you ever watch that movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it remind me of. Okay, next question. What made you want to be a real estate agent?
Uh, a bunch of things. There's not, I guess not one reason in particular, but there's a handful of reasons. One, obviously the control. Everything is in my hands. Usually when you're in a job, sometimes it's not all in your control. It's kind of what your boss wants. If you may want a day off, and you got to put something in like that. You got to ask them, or maybe if oh, I'm stuttering. Um, if there's like I said, control, there's freedom to some extent, not all freedom, because I am running around with clients, driving around, but it's what I want to do. I get to pick and choose what I want, and that's the great thing. And the income potential, there's no limit. I can make 100,000, 200,000, $1 million, whatever it is. It all depends on how much I work, and everything is on me. Like previously mentioned, if I fail, I can't blame nobody. It's on me. If I succeed, it's on me. So I like that pressure. It puts that pressure on me, and I like that.
Yeah, that's true. Because you're more like an employer or an independent contractor versus an employee. Yeah, and then what you said with real estate is compound interest. Same with the stocks market. If you
Exactly.
invest in a dividend stock, you buy more stock, you get paid more, and then you can just reinvest that, and that's compounding. Okay, next question. Describe the process of inspecting and appraising a property.
Okay. I'm not a home inspector or an appraiser, so I guess I
Okay.
can't probably explain fully what they do. However, I've been through the process. So usually with a home inspector, they look for stuff that's wrong with the house. So, whether if the roof is in good condition, there's no rotten wood, they might check the furnace, the hot water tank, to see how old it is, things like that, the foundation, basic things like that, to make sure the home is in good shape. Usually they'll find some things wrong with it. And then it depends on what they find wrong. And then the buyer, the seller, the agent as well. Then from that point, we negotiate. We say, hey, you fix this. Hey, you fix that. Or, maybe there's no railing in the house, for example, and the lender says there has to be a railing. So it all depends on that. And then if you get to that, then you go to the appraisal. An appraisal is kind of what I like to call an overly advanced CMA, a market analysis. Pretty much, they're going to an appraiser. Usually, they'll walk through the property, they'll take some pictures, they'll look at the condition of the house, kind of like a home inspector to some extent, not that detailed, but more so at the appliances and things like that. They'll look at the other homes, what they sold for, and then they'll kind of try to justify what they think the house is worth. And then depending on the number, it may kill the deal if the appraisal comes low. If it comes good, it doesn't always happen, but it does happen from time to time. So sometimes it comes low, sometimes it comes high, which is great. Some, normal, and then from there we negotiate again. And then once you negotiate those two things, then you get to the closing table. But a lot of times the deal falls through at the home inspection or the appraisal.
Okay. How does one become a real estate agent?
It's actually not that difficult, to be honest with you. You could go to a brokerage. I know some local brokerages, they have real estate schools, things like that. They have online real estate schools as well, so you can just go online. Real Estate Express is the school that I did online. That's a little cheaper, but not hands-on. So it's pretty much what you want to do on that, and you take your 75 hours, either online or in class. and then you go take your state exam. You pay to take your state exam. Once you pass that, then you get your license, and then you can go sign on at any brokerage you want. Then you just pay all your fees for the year.
Okay, that's good. What's the biggest challenge you foresee in this job industry?
Definitely the market is shifting. It's shifting right now. So it used to be pretty easy to sell a house. The homes were super high. Everybody was looking for a house. Well, now it's getting expensive to buy a house now. So it's starting to shift now, and being that it's expensive, a lot less activity is going to be going on. So unfortunately, that means real estate agents, mortgage brokers, title reps, things like that. All the folks that are involved in the real estate business. A lot of us, our jobs are at stake right now, being that a lot of the activity is slowing down. So a lot of us, if a lot of the folks that are going to be in business that are going to pivot, they may see it, they're going to pivot. So, how bad is it going to be? Nobody really knows, but we are expecting some type of shift with the prices to come down and things like that. So how it will affect people, that's kind of, what some folks are a little weary about. That's definitely a big challenge for sure.
And you mentioned markets. What's a buyer's market and what's a seller's market?
Oh, great question. So a seller's market is definitely what we had the last 2 years. I guess for an example, let's say you have one house for sale, but you have 10 buyers looking at that same house. So it's going to get bid up because, let's say it's at 200,000, it's, then somebody will offer 250. The next person will offer 270. The next person will offer 280 until it keeps going up and up and up. So that's a seller's market. That's what's been happening the last 2 years. Well, now we're shifting into a buyer's market where now we have more homes for sale, but we don't have any buyers, or we don't have as many buyers going. So let's say we have 10 houses for sale, but we only have 2 buyers looking at those 10 houses. Well, now all those 10 people want to sell their house, but there's only 2 people that can buy. So now people are likely going to keep dropping their price until their home looks attractive enough for buyers to get in. Either that, or, the homes are just going to be sitting on the market for a really long time. So that's what we're getting into now with the buyer's market.
Okay, so it sounds like supply and demand.
Exactly.
Okay, got you. Next question. When should you withhold a renter's deposit as a real estate agent?
Okay, so I guess that question isn't very applicable to me because
Okay.
I don't deal with renters. I more deal with sellers. However, usually the landlords usually deal with that. But when we hold a deposit, when we hold a cash deposit with the buyer and the seller, either the broker holds it, usually the broker holds it, or the title agent holds it.
Okay. Um, do you have a YouTube channel or like social media where people can check out for you?
Yeah, at Pro House Seller. That's my YouTube channel. That's pretty much everything. Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, everything is at Pro House Seller.
Okay, I'll make sure to drop in the description, post a link, Pro House Seller. Okay. All right. Okay. Do you have any family or friends that come to your advice for buying a home or selling a home?
Oh yeah, all the time. That's part of the reason actually why I started the channel. When I post my content every now and again, some folks ask me, hey Mike, I'm thinking about buying a house. Either they're thinking about buying a house or they're thinking about being an agent themselves. So they ask me questions, things like that. So on my YouTube channel, I like to talk about the economy. I like to talk about just things that are turning in the market, and how I think agents should react to it, so we don't go out of business, things like that.
Okay. Do you invest in real estate? You say you was going to. Have you done it already or not?
Not yet.
Mhm.
Hopefully that's the plan for next year. So hopefully by the end of next year, I can get me a couple rental properties. That's the plan.
Okay. How do you feel about the metaverse and people who buy real estate in the metaverse?
I'm not. I've actually seen a few people doing it. I haven't looked too deep into it to have much of an opinion on it, but I have seen some folks. It's kind of interesting to see that. I'm not sure how that exactly,
Yeah, it works.
how they're
Yeah.
going to implement that, but it's interesting to kind of observe.
Yeah, because I heard about that, so I felt that was like be an interesting question.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Okay. Does the real estate industry do they do like transaction with cryptocurrency or no?
Not that I've seen, not personally, but I have seen a few people. I've seen some stuff on TV where they've done it once or twice, but not really, not prevalent, not to my knowledge, not really.
Okay. And one last question. Describe a typical day in your life as a real estate agent.
All right, so typically, when I wake up, I like to, I usually wake up maybe around 9 o'clock, 8, 9 o'clock. Get ready, and I get some breakfast. I like to start making my calls. It depends if I have an appointment or not. If I don't have an appointment, I usually make calls for, from maybe 10, 11 o'clock to about 3, or 2 o'clock. Maybe I take a little break. Sometimes I DoorDash on the side, so maybe I'll DoorDash for a few hours and then I'll come back and make some calls into the evening around 6, maybe, depends. If they live on the West Coast, I'll call a little later, like 6, 7, 8, 9, because it's earlier on that side. So it all depends. But and then from there, I usually do CMAs. I'll make my email reports, and then I follow up with the people who say they might be interested, and then I go from there.
Okay. Yeah, and that was what's it like being a real estate agent in Erie, PA. So yep. Thank you guys for watching the show. It was a lovely interview with Mike. Yeah. Down below be a link to his channel. You can check him up. Check out his channel. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe to his channel. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe to my channel. And then we're gonna keep this movement going. Okay, see you in the next video. So then.